Long-term analysis of Cell PLC, let's analyze it together. But before that, read the disclaimer right here in the video description below. And also, join us, Trainer Steve, watch us live right here on YouTube. And what we have here on the screen is we have actually two price actions. The first one is Cell, PLC, the one that is above right now in more than 4%, 4.58 to be more precise. And the other one that is in minus 41% is just the price action of crude oil. And it's very interesting because at the beginning, since at the beginning of April 2020, when the price action, both price actions recovered, we could clearly see this correlation between crude oil price action and Cell PLC. I'm pretty sure BP or other oil companies, they were experiencing the same thing. But then something unexpected happened. Since July 2022, the price started to diverge. So the thing here is like Shell is performing better on the crude action, the crude oil price action right now, which is very interesting. But there are some similarities still, and as you can see, crude oil right now is dropping dramatically, and Shell is suffering as well. So obviously, lower prices in terms of crude oil is not good, for business in that sense. So, and the contrary is also true, at the beginning, the price action after the huge crash back in March 2020, the price action started to go back up again like crazy, and Shell started to make incredible profits. And now actually we're going to see the fundamentals. So you can see that the theory is actually true. So what we can see right here from the screen, right here below, is the net income in quarters. So look at what happened back in 2020, this huge drop right there, I'm pretty sure that we're talking about losses right there. Yeah, minus 16 billion. I mean, that's huge. But then they started to recover, some positive numbers, still a couple of negatives, but, generally positive. And then the best earnings ever of the company was back in June 2022, when they made like 16 billion of net income in just one quarter, completely insane. And now, as you can see, the price action, it continued to go up, with some corrections in that sense, but the net income is dropping. And this is for me the most important indicator, in the sense that in order to see the stock making new highs, we don't need to see this, it's like quite the contrary, to make new highs in the price action, the net income also has to be in new highs. There is, strangely, sometimes it happens, when you see a net income dropping, but that's because, the investors didn't realize yet that the trend is changing. Here you can clearly see the trend is changing, because we're talking about like 3 years with a lot of quarters. And none of them made those new highs back in June 2022. All of them, they are worse. So that's interesting, in that sense. So if we go to the forecast, we also can confirm that theory by analysts from Wall Street. So here you can clearly see we have 18 analysts right there. And the RS, they think the stock should go up more than 26%. And the most optimistic one, more than 64%. So why do they think that? Okay, because right now the crude oil price action is dropping. The stock is like going sideways. Generally speaking, it's because of this, because right here, in the next coming years, they're gonna get similar numbers to the ones seen in the past. Not as the ones seen in 2022. That was an extraordinary year, but at least the price should recover to previous prices. And when I mean previous prices, I mean similar prices as the ones seen back here when it was making new highs. Around 34 euros per share. So that's based on the theory that we're going to make like a very similar result in the coming years, similar to the ones seen back in 2023 and 2024. Still, 2025 is not good in that sense, because the EPS earnings per share, which is correlated with the net income, you can clearly see the estimate is 2.90, which is worse than the previous year. So that's why I don't like to buy stocks in this particular moment. I prefer to buy after that, because here you can clearly see in 2026 we're gonna get like an EPS of 3.22, which is very similar to the previous ones, still worse. So that's the only thing that is not making much sense to me. But obviously this price reaction that we are watching right here, that the reason is not making new highs is because of this forecast that we had, and the net income dropping right here. So as I mentioned earlier, in order to see new highs, we need to see better numbers, and we're not going to see better numbers in 2 years in the company. So overall, it's going to continue to go sideways in that sense, because it's still a good company, and the market cap is 173 billion. It's a very good company. The dividend is also high. We're talking about like a 4% dividend yield. That's one of the reasons to buy a stock, because the lows, right now we are trading around the low levels, and that's the most optimistic thing. Your attractive price action, you buy at the bottom and then you hold it for a long period of time. That's the type of business that we do here in stocks like this, because overall, we probably won't see another year as the one see back in April 2020. It's gonna be like completely unrealistic to see that. I hope not, but that's the thing, like we need to see better price action at this point, but in order to see that, we need the better net income, and right now it's not happening. That's the only issue that we have with this stock, but the stock is a good one because it's making profits. At the end of the day, if it's positive if it has positive net income, it's good, because if it doesn't, it doesn't make any sense. Will it enter into negative territory? Will it enter into losses? I don't think so. And actually, this quarter is the best one in the last 3 of the last 4, So obviously, there's a good overall vision about this one. But obviously, we need to see better data. And the estimate that the next EPS is not good. It's actually 0.69, which is in comparison to the previous one right here. You can clearly see right here, it's like the past one was 0.85 of the reporting EPS. So we're gonna get like a way worse net income, and that's probably the stock is also dropping, because the EPS, the estimate that we have here, is not positive either. But anyway, this is the results for now. The next quarter is not gonna be good, but overall in 2 years time, it's gonna be a good investment. So PLC. So leave your comments below about what do you think about this stock. Is it a good one to buy and hold for the long term? Is it a good moment? Is it the right moment to buy the stock right now, or should I wait a little bit later and buy it, when we have like a better net income, better forecasts in that sense? Leave your comments below and see you in the next one.